Welcome to the Victimology Report, where I study the victims of crimes and the psychological effects that their traumatic experiences had on them. Episode 4 will be about Chris Washington, a young photographer that's trying to make his mark on the world, despite having to overcome racial stereotypes and prejudice. Chris is in a relationship with Rose Armitage. The two of them are madly in love with each other. For Chris, Rose had all the attributes he desired in a woman: intelligent, adventurous, confident, and a natural beauty. Chris reluctantly agrees to travel with Rose to meet her family. He's cautious meeting them because she hasn't disclosed his race to her parents. Upon arriving to the Armitage home, Chris is introduced to Rose's parents, Dean and Missy, her brother Jeremy, the family's groundskeeper Walter, and maid Georgia. Dean suggests Chris allow Missy to perform hypnosis on him to end his smoking habit, but Chris declines. That night following dinner, Chris goes outside for a smoke. He lays eyes on Walter, who suddenly charges full speed towards him. Chris was too panic-stricken to move, as Walter runs right past him with remarkable speed. Chris goes back inside the house, where he encounters Missy. She convinces him to sit down with her. He is unknowingly hypnotized by the matriarch. During the hypnosis, he reveals his childhood trauma regarding the tragic death of his mother. While stirring the cup of tea, she sends Chris into the sunken place. Chris awakens the following morning, thinking that last night's events were just nightmares, but soon realizes that Missy hypnotized him. His desire to smoke was gone. The Armitages hosted an annual gathering for their friends and associates, where Chris is subjected to racial stereotypes by the guests. Despite feeling like a fish out of water, he is relieved to see another African American named Logan. There's something peculiar about the old attire Logan is wearing. What's even more strange is that he is married to an older white woman. Chris decides to take a picture of Logan, who proceeds to yell at him, "Get out!" before being scurried away by the other attendees. Chris would later consult with his best friend, Rod, and express his concern. He tells him about Logan and how familiar he looks. Rod proposes that Logan is a sex slave, and if he doesn't leave immediately, then he's next. Due to the bizarre occurrence of events, Chris tells Rose he wants to leave. Rose agrees after some convincing. However, while packing his item, Chris notices a small closet where he finds a picture of Rose with a galore of other black men, including Walter. Chris feels instant betrayal and realizes that he's in imminent danger if he doesn't get out. While trying to leave, Rose reveals herself to be an accomplice with her family. Chris attempts to escape but is hypnotized again by Missy. When Chris awakes, he's confined in the basement of the Armitage's home. He watches a video presentation from the Armitage's true patriarch, Roman, who brilliantly found a way to obtain pseudo-immortality by transporting his brain into another person's body. It dawns on Chris that the gathering was actually an auction to see which of the guests was the right candidate for his body. Chris plans his means of escape by stuffing his ears with cotton, thus allowing him to avoid being hypnotized again. When Jeremy enters to help his father perform the surgery, Chris knocks him unconscious and proceeds to kill Dean and Missy. This results in Dean knocking over a candle and setting the house ablaze. While driving away from the property, he accidentally hits Georgia and decides to help her, possibly out of guilt from not helping his mother. However, Georgia attacks him, causing him to crash, which kills her. He is then attacked by Rose and Walter, but manages to use his camera's flash to return Walter to his real self, allowing him to shoot Rose. A struggle ensues to prevent Rose from obtaining her rifle. Chris sees what appears to be a police cruiser arrive, which makes Rose cry out for help. However, it's revealed to be Rod, who decided to travel there after the police refusal to help him. They leave her on the road to die from her gunshot wound. Chris would express deep gratitude to Rod for coming to his rescue. Missy, in a way, helped Chris to unearth buried trauma from his past. He still feels partially responsible for his mother's death. Dating new people has become quite challenging for Chris. I mean, how could he ever trust again after being victimized by the Armitage family? Chris continues to use photography as a therapeutic outlet. This has been the Victimology report of Chris Washington. I hope you enjoyed episode 4. Please like and share this video and subscribe for more content. Be safe out there and don't become the next victim.